Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Kirsty and I make psychic and spiritual content. So if that's your kind of thing, please do stick around and join us by subscribing down below. Click the subscribe button and join our lovely community for more videos just like this one. So welcome. Today, as you can tell by the title of this video, I am reading for Rihanna. So with everything going on with P.Diddy and of course now Jay-Z's name being intertwined in with P.Diddy, it was inevitable that people were going to start speculating about Rihanna. Rihanna joined Def Jam at a very, very young age. I don't know if it was Def Jam or Roc Nation, I'm not sure, but I think I've heard Def Jam, I'm pretty sure it was Def Jam she signed to, at a very, very young age. There have been talks of her being in boardrooms at the age of 15 at 3 AM at night in hotel rooms, and obviously now with everything coming to light, people are side-eyeing that. And anyway, when we think about that, that should have been side-eyed originally, but I think because in the music industry people get signed so young, it became a normality for things like that to just be normal, to be spoken about. But now with the hindsight, we're now realizing that's not normal at all. So we're going to get into Rihanna's energy. I'm going to share with you the kind of things I've been picking up on before I turned on the camera and when I meditated on her energy. So let's get into it. If you enjoyed the video, please do hit a lovely thumbs up. And yeah, let's go. So I instantly, as soon as I started communicating with my spirit team about Rihanna and the P.Diddy case and Jay-Z, and how she got intertwined in this and how she got signed and everything like that, I was taken straight to Rihanna's village, into her hometown. And Spirit talked a lot about her community and her family, because there's a lot of questions around how her parents just let her get on a flight to the States on her own. And what I really do pick up, I'm taken to like, when I went to the Dominican Republic, we went on a excursion, and there was a witch's house that we went to. And I know very much in the Caribbean, obviously I am half Caribbean, I am half Jamaican. It's very, not so much in Jamaica, but I know in a lot of the other Caribbean islands, it's very common for there to be witch doctors and things like that. And that is the kind of vibe that I'm getting. I feel like her family practiced, I don't want to say it's voodoo or anything like that, but it does feel like a darker magic. It does feel like a ritualistic magic. It does feel like something that would have been practiced in her community for many years. And I feel that because of the poverty, the lack of money, you know, the wanting money, there were spells that were cast, you know, things that were said over Rihanna, to be like, you know, please may she be prosperous, please may she be famous, please may we get out of this, please may she be used. I feel like she was given over in spells and rituals to be used to help them get out of poverty. Now what I feel like has happened here, and the way Spirit shows it to me, is, say this is her family here in Barbados and they're making these rituals and they're doing these spells. At the same time you have Jay-Z and Puff Diddy and all of them who are also doing rituals and spells. They are sending those signals up and they are attracting to each other, and it all just kind of flowed into place. So when the opportunity did arise for Rihanna to go to America on her own, of course her family said yes. That's their ticket out. That was their ticket out. And I know Jackie Wright talked about $500,000 that was given over. I don't feel that. I feel that it was more of a soul that was given. I feel like her soul was given over. She literally sold her soul. I don't feel any money being passed over here, right? This is a soul contract. I feel like her soul was given to Def Jam or Roc Nation. I'm not sure which one it was. Her soul was given to the record label, right? And then in turn, obviously, she made a lot of money through music and through selling things and through all of that. Now, interestingly, Spirit is saying, when I started tapping into her energy, they really kept playing the song so hard, you know, that, I'm so hard. And when I was like, okay, let me watch the music video. Maybe it's something about the music video. Maybe there's a message in there or something like that. And Spirit is saying, no, it's not that. They're saying that when that song was released, it was almost like that song was a real turning point for Rihanna that marked almost the end of her soul contract. Because I feel like the contract she had with these people And bear in mind, again, there's a hierarchy to this. There are people that are above P. Diddy. There are people that are above Jay-Z. People that we will never know, that are nameless, that are men in suits that we will never see, because they run more than just the music industry. This is a bigger cooperation going on here. But I feel like she had a timed soul contract. I feel like her soul was given over for a certain length of time, and Spirit is saying that around the time that So Hard was released, Hard, so it's not called So Hard, it's called Hard, that was coming to the end of her soul contract. And Spirit is saying if you look at that timeline around Rihanna's life at that point, that's when the music kind of, they're saying, I mean, I don't know, I can't remember that time, I'd have to go and look at it probably, but they're saying that the music started to slow down then. That's when she really started to think about how she was going to branch off and do her own thing, because I feel like the contract kind of said, you're ours until this amount of time, and Spirit does draw me to like around her 30th birthday. And then they're saying after that, you can go off, you'll have, your name will be made. Your name will basically be made by that point. We'll have what we need from you. Your name will be made, and then you can do what you want. Okay, so I feel like with Rihanna, again, it was a similar vibe to Beyonce. It was a very similar vibe to Beyonce, but slightly different, because she was drawing in a different crowd. But again, like I say, they used her. They used her as an attraction, you know. Look at this new it girl, look at what we can do for you. We can make you an it girl. Don't you want to come and join us? Don't you want to come to the parties? If you come to the parties, you can network with us, and you could be Rihanna. You could be the next Beyonce. You could, do you know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing. And like I say, they will just continue to keep doing it. Continue to keep churning out these girls. Now it's more Instagram girls and baddies, Lori Harvey. You've got, yeah. So her name's just come up from Spirit, so I'm guessing she was used as well. So, you know, it's a different style of girl and a different way that they do it now, but at the time Rihanna was definitely used as a ploy, you know, come join us, you could be the next Rihanna. I will pull the cards, but in terms of was she when it comes to like assault and anything like that with Rihanna, I feel more with Rihanna that she wasn't intertwined in that way. Her contract just feels different, and I feel that because of the spells that were put on from her community, she was protected in that way. Like there was a understanding that she wasn't going to be involved in any freak parties. And so I do feel like Rihanna was spared in that sense. She was definitely used. They used each other. Rihanna used them obviously for the money, and in turn she knew that her soul was being used as well. Because what I do feel, and it's a very strange thing again, is that, you know, when I've talked about their souls being out of their bodies, I feel that maybe for that period of time, Spirit, when I watched the Hard video, Spirit is saying that's a different Rihanna. I feel like that's a different Rihanna. Spirit is saying that's the end of that Rihanna, and it's almost like her soul came back into her body. And I think you can see it. Like, don't get me wrong, people age and they grow and they change, but Rihanna now is different. She's different. And I do feel like maybe that's why there is a hesitation to go back and make music, because it's like, you know, I'm not that soul anymore. You know, my soul was given over and then it was returned back. That's how I feel. I feel like for a certain period her soul was given over and then it was returned back. But I don't feel her energy being, I feel like she was at parties, but I don't feel her energy being abused or assaulted or anything like that. I feel like she was protected in the same similar way that Beyonce is protected. Even though Beyonce has been a victim, I don't feel any victimization with Rihanna. I feel like this was a joint contract. So anyway, let's get into the cards. Let's see what the cards say. Please show Rihanna's involvement with P. Diddy, Jay-Z. Please show Rihanna's energy. What is she feeling now around this case? I mean, for that to come out as the first card shows everything. I don't feel a victimized energy with Rihanna. I really, really don't. I feel like it was clear. You know, Rihanna's come from nothing, basically. She's come from a very, in terms of money, she's come from a very financially poor background. So this was all about making money, and she was very clear from a young age that this was what was being placed upon her, and this is what she had to do. Okay. Please show Rihanna. Please show Rihanna's journey. Please show Rihanna's connection to P.Diddy, Jay-Z. Judgment. That card kept flipping over. And again, we'll get into it, but that says a lot about what I've just said. Page of Cups. Okay. I think the deck might be reversed. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9. Interesting. Yep. This really just sums up a lot of... Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is like Rihanna's... This is just... Yeah. There's not a lot to say here, to be honest, because I've kind of just told you the situation and the cards are backing it up. But yeah, we'll get into it. 2 more cards and then we'll just get into it. Okay. Okay. Final card. Yeah. I'm not surprised to see any one of these cards. It really sums up everything I've literally just said. Rihanna was not a victim in this situation, and I'm happy to hear that. Rihanna had made a soul contract with these people, and they were all very much on the same page, including her family, including her. She knew what she had to do to get her family out of the situation they were in. I'm not going to say she wasn't put in risky situations where she was with older men and they were in the room with her, that they wasn't uncomfortable. I'm not going to say that. But in terms of was she ever touched, assaulted, attacked, anything like that, I don't feel it here. It's very much about money and making a better life for yourself. So let's go for the first card. So first card that came over is the 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles is the female abundance card. So from the very, very get-go, this was about getting rich. This was about using your femininity and your female sexuality to make money. And they knew that. They knew that where she came from. Like, from a young age, I feel like Rihanna had expressed, you know, that she was wanting to sing, wanting to dance, wanting to entertain. And because she was a pretty girl, her family thought, great, ding, what we'll do is we will put her out there. And so they did these spells, they cast this magic, they did this ritualistic, they chanted over it, prayed over it, attracted it, you know? And they got it. They got it. So, okay. So that card is tied to the Hermit. Now, the Hermit talks about going inward, withdrawing, going within, pulling back, isolating. And I do feel with this card that that is about when her soul went into the dark. So her soul was almost lifted from her body energetically, placed in like a capsule or something or somewhere, and they were able to then use her. And she was able to make money. They were able to use her to draw in whatever they needed to. Any girls, money for them as well, because obviously they're getting a cut from her money as well. And she went into the darkness until her soul contract was up. Spirit is saying that this is a common practice in the music industry. You will see people have soul contracts, and then after their soul contracts are done, they will turn into independent artists, or they'll go and do different lines of work, and that's what you're seeing with Rihanna now. Her soul contract was up, and then she completely changed career direction, and now she can do what she wants to do. Not everyone is on that contract, but that's the contract Rihanna was in. So the Hermit is about her soul withdrawing. Now we've got Judgment reversed and the Emperor. So Judgment is about rebirth and transition. It's about a rebirth of self. And like I said, after her soul contract was done, Judgment is about rebirth of self, right? Spirit is saying, this is interesting now, because Judgment hasn't come up upright, it's come up reversed, which makes me feel like when her time came for her soul to come back, around that hard era, around her 30th birthday, Spirit is saying that they almost tried to block that from happening. And this is linked to the Emperor. The Emperor is someone who's in charge, it's an authoritative figure, it's someone who is the leader of the pack, and I do feel like this is Jay-Z. Spirit is saying if you look around the hard period of time, there was a falling out. There definitely was a falling out. Now, one of the things that has just come back to me, that Spirit said Rihanna had to do and still has to do in her soul contract, and was part of the contract she signed for these people, was no matter what happens, on a public basis, if you see any of these people in public, you have to act like everything is fine. So you could have fallen out with these people behind closed doors. They could have been awful to you. They could have taken all your money, everything. Because bear in mind, at the beginning, they didn't know what was going to happen with her career. Well, they did because it's orchestrated, but you know what I mean. Part of the contract, I feel, was no matter what happens, you have to be civil in public, because we cannot have you blowing a cover. If all of a sudden Rihanna stops greeting Jay-Z in public, people are going to start asking questions, aren't they? So part of her contract, I feel, was also to keep up public appearances. So when it came to the time for her soul contract to be over and her actual self to come back into her body and for her to go off and do what she wanted to do with her career, I do feel that a male in the industry, and I do feel like it was Jay-Z, tried to put a block on that. He tried to stop it. He tried to keep her soul gone for longer than possible. So actually, I feel like behind the scenes, Rihanna and Jay-Z are not in any kind of relation, do not like each other, do not get on. But in public, obviously, there's a show that they have to put on. Next, we have the Page of Cups reversed, tied to the Seven of Cups. Page of Cups is about new beginnings, usually in terms of love, okay? And it's tied to the Seven of Cups. And Seven of Cups is a card of confusion, illusion, not being sure what to do, not being sure where to turn. Okay. When Jay-Z presented Rihanna with this ultimatum, you know, I don't want to let you go, almost. There was some confusion around what do I do here? And also, this, I feel, is confusion around whether I want to make music again, whether I want to be involved in this, whether I want to give up my career, go back to Barbados and just disappear. Kirsty from the future here. I'm just editing this reading, and when I started to talk again about how Rihanna's soul contract ended with the album that Hard was on, something just didn't really sit right with me, because then again I was tapping into the Page of Cups and the Seven of Cups, and how there really was such like a muddy energy around there, like there wasn't clarity. And I was like, okay, let me see where her career was at this point, because I was thinking Hard was in the middle of her career, it was like in the peak, which makes sense as to why they wanted to persuade her to stay, because this was at the height of, she was making a lot of money from music at this point. Which makes sense. Obviously she's making a lot of money, then so are they, and they want her to stay, even though at that point her soul contract was up. The amount of time she'd agreed to do for her soul was up, I feel. But seeing as this was like the middle album, she released, I think it was 3 more albums I saw to this, so it would make sense, and I feel now that they did persuade her to stay longer. I feel like she was partially able to return back to herself, but still some of her soul was kept, and there's a partial return. And then she did the rest of the albums, more money was made, and then her full soul returned after the next 3 albums. But yeah, it was a real turning point. It was still a turning point, because I feel like even if you look at her music after that, I think the album that Hard is on is R rated or something. If you look at the music after that, Spirit is saying it changes slightly. So there was a shift there, but they did manage to persuade her to stay. More money for them, more money for her, I guess. Her soul was kept partially in the dark and part of it returned. But yeah, I just felt like I needed to tap more into that. So yeah, okay. Page of Cups reversed is there's uncertainty about what I do next, and again it's linked to the Seven of Cups. So there was confusion. There was a lot of confusion when Rihanna's soul came back into her body about what she did and what she was to do next. However, And I don't want to linger on that because Spirit, this is a bit of a murky energy. But Spirit is quickly drawing on to the Nine of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. And they're saying it didn't matter really that she didn't know, because she came out on top. Again, do you know what I'm loving? I'm loving this theme of light wins, okay? Because even though it could be seen that Rihanna's in a dark entity, because yes, she did agree to, she knowingly agreed to enter this contract, right? So let's get that clear. But I do feel that it's hard to explain. You'd have to really feel the energy, but it's almost like, you know, she did what she had to do to get her family into a better life. Nine of Wands is about moving forward independently. So this now is talking about her independent freedom, when she finally decided what it was she wanted to do and she moved forward and she had that financial success. Not just financial success, but domestic success as well, because Ace of Pentacles, Pentacles is about money, but Pentacles also represents the element of earth, and earth is about your home life, your family, your foundations, where you lay yourself, what is the core values of your life. She decided to go on her own, start Fenty, and how successful has she been with that, you know, and she's made a lot of money following her own soul contract, following her own contract that she's made with her soul, having her own family, doing her own thing. So when she decided to go on her own, she's been even more successful, right? So it's a success story in terms of Rihanna. It really is a success story. This reading, I know Spirit's just saying people are going to want predictions and stuff for Rihanna. This isn't really a predictions video. I'm trying to really tap into that energy of, you know, what was going on in the P. Diddy, Jay-Z interim, that dark world, that underworld of the music industry. And when it comes to Rihanna, I do feel she was very lucky, but I do feel she had a lot of ancestors watching over her. She had a lot of magic around her. She had a lot of protection around her. I also feel as well, Spirit is saying, because Jay-Z, the entities, P.Diddy, these people knew Rihanna's background. They knew she came from a background of... Sorry if anything looks different. My camera died there. I don't know why it does this, but it's very annoying. Anyway, because they knew she came from a background of Caribbean magic, ancestral magic, they were a bit scared of her, and still are, because she was protected the whole time, because of the prayers and the magic and the spells that were placed over her by her family. So everyone was on the same page when it came to Rihanna. They knew very much that, you know, her family were very well versed in magic, and they didn't really want to mess with her in that way. So they kept and respected the contract that was made in the beginning. And it's worked out for Rihanna because she's been able to make a success for herself, for her life, for her family. So this isn't really a predictive energy that we're picking up on here. I wanted to see really what was her involvement, and, you know, was she a victim in this? And in a way she used them for her own advantage, and good for her. Good for her. Which I feel like now makes sense, because when you see Rihanna now being asked in the streets about... I think when I saw a video where she was asked about the freak-off parties and she laughed, and I thought that's really insensitive. She was like, don't be crazy. But I almost feel like with Rihanna, it's like they could never have, like, there's a real power here. Like, they could never, like, they know not to mess with me. And she's almost laughing, as in, like, they're pathetic kind of thing. Like, so there's a real feeling as if she's got one up on them, and she's very, very powerful in that, and very proud. So yeah, she's almost looking just like, yeah, you know, she's proud of the power moves that she's made, and good for her. Good for her. She's entwined in it though. Let's not get it twisted. She is entwined in it, and she will dabble with them and get the money she needs to get from them. Like, she very much plays a power hand. You know, she knows how to work the system to work for her. She's all in it for the money, Rihanna. It's all for the money. Because of her background and because of where she comes from. So she's got a lot of drive, and, you know, she's very serious, and she knows what she wants. And she's willing to work with these people in order to get what she wants. So yeah, I don't feel any victimised energy, so that's good. So yeah, that's Rihanna's energy around the P. Diddy case. Please let me know your thoughts down below as always. If you did enjoy the reading, please do hit a lovely thumbs up. Let me know any other people you'd like to see me read for. I do have a list. It is a growing list. But yeah, I'd be interested to see who you'd like to see me read for next. I do offer personal and private readings. I will leave the link for those down below. I do feel like they're currently sold out, but I'll let you know when they become available next. And if you want to know first, head over to my Instagram at @IamKirstyLewis, because that's the first place I let people know. And yeah, I will see you soon for another video, lovelies. Thank you so much for being with me today. If you haven't already, please do join our lovely community and subscribe down below. And I will see you soon for another video. Bye.